What's today? Wednesday. Well, good day, everybody. I think it's Wednesday. I just did, it's the 6th of December, and I'm pretty sure it's Wednesday. Things you don't think about until the last minute. Anyway, lots of interesting things happening on the course. Spoke to Explorer last night on the SoundCloud, and we're swapping over to a new timeline now to make it more civilized. Explorer rang about 12:30 last night, or after midnight, and all of them now moving forward 21 they're adding 11 hours to their UTC scheduled call time. And that will mean that those that were calling on Friday would then be calling on Saturday in New Zealand, which we don't want. So the Friday calls will actually go through to Sunday night, New Zealand time, which will then come up on Monday morning. So there's going to be a few little hiccups to the schedule, but we need to get it on an even keel for realistic times here. That means the calls will start coming in from about 10 o'clock in the morning, New Zealand time, which is a bit more civilized for the entrance as well, because those call times were set up coming down the Atlantic, from GMT or when we were back in the UK, starting in the UK. So anyway, they'll all be there eventually, and I think we might be seeing the first boats as early as the 13th now. But we'll show you that on the tracker. What else have I got to tell you? That's really about it for now. So let's just go straight to the tracker. And wrong one, not that one. We want this one here. That should come up the tracker. Come on. Why is that not coming up? Nope. Okay, hang on. There it is. Okay, so that's the tracker there. And then if I hit that, you should get me. Yep. So now I just go to the tracker and we're in business. So Penjuica's on a roll, as we were saying. They're getting spewed out of Bass Strait right now, which is kind of exciting in a way. That'll be fun to watch and see what happens. So, there's a bit of heavier weather coming, but nothing forecast over 35 knots. So no weather alerts. It's all pretty straightforward. Big southwesterlies coming down here. And Neptune, if we just squiz at that, not Neptune, Galliana with Secure, Evrika and Outlaw, they've rolled over, but just down here, they had a party last night. They all got together. They would have been within sight of each other just about. So that's kind of fun. Anyway, White Shadow plodding along. We're going right to the back of the fleet here. And I had a chat to the crew of Explorer and said, hey, come on, get serious. Stop sending all those silly tweets about this, that, and the other, and start talking boat speed and direction and all those sorts of things. They apparently burnt some cake in the bloody oven or something. All these things. They're eating too well and they're having too much fun. But they are making ground, so that's good to see. Doing 8.6 at the moment. They've only got 5,132 miles to go to Auckland, so that's not too far away. They did 192 nautical mile a day, and trying to catch up to Sterner now. I told them Sterner was about 80 miles in front of them, and they were a little bit closer before. They crossed over very close back here. And now Sterner's doing 8.7 as well, and 5,082 miles to go. So they're about 80 miles in front of Explorer. They're not talking to each other on the radio yet. They're trying to, but we're trying to facilitate that. We gave them both, because both of them aren't racing. They're out of the rankings for this leg. We gave them both each other's position yesterday, so they know exactly where each other are, and they should be on the standard sked, so they should be able to talk to each other for sure. Anyway, they're having a pretty good time, and the weather's so-so. If we just push this forward, there's this bit of a pressure system starting just above and around them, but it's not developed with any strength. So the sea might get a bit confusing there for a while, but very quickly, by tomorrow, late tomorrow, they'll be into this strong westerly airflow. Things will pick up, the seas will pick up to 5 meters. It'll be blowing 30 knots, gusting 40 plus, and so on, and really rollicking along, giving them good speed. So they're in the right sort of position. I suggested to Mark previously that they should be somewhere between 40 and 43 south all the way across, and that's keeping all the funny stuff a little bit lower them, and this one forming up is ahead of them. So no problem at all. Soon, this is the Kerguelen Islands here. It's owned by France. They've got a station down there. Amazing spot. There's actually trout down there. You can go trout fishing if you get a permit to go down there. And they're quite an amazing island. So that's all I can tell you for Sterner and Explorer for now. Nothing to worry about, and making good times, which is very cool. And here's the main game. So White Shadow down the back here, 8.2 knots, 181 mile day. Beautiful Southern Ocean sailing, not quite a northwesterly. It's a west-northwest, probably about 25, 28 knots, gusting up to 35, 38, maybe a little bit higher. But just typical Southern Ocean and making good time, which is good. So hopefully their course will straighten out now, because they're going boom. The straighter they keep it, the quicker they get there. So that's all pretty cool. And then here, this was amazing. We've just dropped the new positions, but before, this was where right here, all three boats just went boom, boom, boom around each other. Galeana's going up high. I can get her there. No, that's Evrika. Hang on, I'll pick it up so I can find Galeana. They're right beside each other. And in fact, I'll tell you, this is just minutes ago, the distance apart for these guys is about 13 miles apart. So they would actually, depending on where the sun is, 13 miles, and depending on the sea, no, maybe just out of range from visual sight, but very close indeed. And they were a lot closer back here. That's where they all crossed over each other. They were buried. So get rid of that and look at Galeana, 8.6 knots, 204 mile day. So that's pretty cool. Evrika, 184 mile day. So Galeana's passing Evrika, and who's doing 8 knots at the moment, but they had a slightly bigger day. So that's pretty cool. And for some reason, I guess they figured they're not going to Tasmania for gas. They're heading down southeast at the moment, which is a very interesting tactic. 8.7 knots and 168 nautical mile days. So no idea what caused that either. That's just part of the game. They had some bigger winds. I don't know. Maybe they got a forecast as well, and they've decided to head that way. So L'Esprit de Keep, 9 knots, 199 mile day. They're holding their own there, so happy with that. And Triana have been tacking around a bit, so it could have been, no speculation on what that was about either. But nonetheless, doing 8.4 knots and 189 nautical mile day, and they'd still be holding, still second in IRC, which is pretty impressive. Esprit de Keep was 8th in IRC, and we got 7th. Everyone's falling back, and 5th in IRC for Evrika. So Evrika's coming into her own at the moment. She's slowly climbing up the rankings. So Neptune, I don't want to forget them. They've come pretty high, which is always risky here, depending on weather, of course. But normally, if you were going to New Zealand, you wouldn't try and come too close to the bottom of Tasmania, because you can get big hollows there with not much wind, but there's plenty at the moment. So 213 mile day, they're flying. They've got everything up. 10th in line on us, 10th in IC, 5th in flyer class. So that's pretty good. Spirit of Helsinki, funny, crossing tacks again. Everyone's going in different directions, but nonetheless, they're flying 10.1 knots. That's good. And 204 mile day, heading up a bit. And Spirit of Helsinki have absolutely come down. 10.2 knots and 122 mile day. So they had a slow start. They basically just about parked there for a while. So that's all okay. Translated 9, doing 10.5 knots and 249 mile day. That's probably correct. They've been bollocking along there. They've had plenty of breeze, nothing to slow them down. So they're really hightailing it. And Penduic we mentioned. So, but they had a slow start, but at least they're going now. If we come back here, we can look a little bit about the next lot of tactics. And as I say, generally, as a rule of thumb, if you're down here and you want to get around Cape Reinga, this is your target zone for coming up the west coast of New Zealand, because you're bound to have something happening in the middle here. And it looks like that's what's going to shape up. I'll start pushing this through. We can see everyone there. White Shadow back here, mid-fleet. Penjuic up high, and Maiden, so we know where they all are. I'll just punch it forward now. We'll go forward 24 hours slowly and talk about what happens. So Penjuic is going to go light for a short one there, probably only about 6 hours. Oh, maybe. Yeah, no, she's sailing into it. Oh, it could be that's light for maybe 8 hours or so. Everyone else is sailing fast, except maybe for Maiden. They're going to run into some headwinds here because there's this little high pressure forming right in front of Penjuic. And that's very interesting seeing that happen. But anyway, we'll follow it. So Maiden's going to come up into that headwind. So she's going to have to bear away, which she will obviously do, and start heading across to New Zealand. So she'll probably hold this angle here. But that thing is going to go this way or that way. So let's see what it does. And this is now coming up to... Okay, boy, it just squashed, didn't go anywhere. Right on top of them. Here it goes, but it's diminishing rapidly, falling apart. So it's a local anomaly. Everyone back here is really flying. That's all cool. Translated, if they carry on this course, they'll still be sailing. And Penjuic is underway again. This is it all happened in about 12 hours. So then pushing it through to 24. This is coming up to about 24 hours. So there was a bit of a mixed bag of go slow, go fast, but then it settles down and you've got one predominant high coming up here. And this is what I'm saying, depending on where that goes, you want to stay this side, not through the middle, but it'll work itself out. And everyone in the back here, plenty of breeze, they're still going. So if the leaders slow down, they're going to, those boats behind them are going to compress a little bit, which makes it more fun. And then pretty easy sailing through the middle here. And then, okay, this is the 8th. This is a heavier weather forming up, but I've already had a look on Windy this morning. And there is, this is the 8th. So it's 6th, 7th, 8th. This is 2 days, so it'll be nearly 400 miles in front for Translated. So they're going to be up here somewhere and miss the heaviest bit of this. So the forecast through here is only for low 30s, 31, 32, nothing over 35, but it'll be gusty. It's going to gust to 40, 45 knots and so on. It's coming from the northwest. The sea state should be manageable, not getting too extreme, and you might get some of these tail enders here, depending on where they go, well, not tail enders, but the mid-fleet, they may get confused with some of this other stuff here as well. So we'll watch that form, but right now there's no weather warnings expected for anyone, unless Spirit of Helsinki starts going right over here and they're going to mix it up with these guys, then we will. But I would imagine they'll start to come around on the run line. They'll turn in the next few position reports. So that's... pretty straightforward. We'll just keep pushing this through just so we can see what to expect of the boats coming, what sort of weather they're likely to get. Hang on a sec, I'm going to hit that, and then coming through. So this is the 9th, 3 days away. Penjuic's still got breeze. If she cuts across like this, just keeps coming, she's got a good breeze to come through. She'll hook up with that. Sailing through. Translated's got a good breeze, so they should make reasonable time. This is 3 days. We're under 4 days out now. 4 days out. Some of these guys back here could get hooked up in this and slow them down a bit. And then to get around here on the 10th is also challenging. Going to go light if this forecast is real. So we're not talking big average speeds there. This is to the 10th, and that's going to affect a few people there. The very light winds in the Tasman. Yeah, that'll affect a few. So if we look at generally the distance to go, so Penjuic has 1,500 miles to go. That would be a good solid 7 days. So 7 days from now is the 13th. And I reckon they might be able to hold that. There's a mixed bag, 13th. So I think the earliest we're going to see Penjuic would be the 13th, if they're lucky. Probably more likely the 14th. And if we look at Translated... if we look at Translated here, 1,200 miles to go. Yeah, that's a realistic 7 days. So at the moment, Translated is technically a little bit ahead of Penjuic on line honours, running 3 rankings, first line honours, first in IC, first in flyer class still. And I think it's really hard to call. Is Translated in a better position than Penjuic? I think probably so. I think if I could have all these regular weather reports and I was sailing, I would rather be Translated than Penjuic. But only time will tell. We'll have to wait and see. But my prediction there for first boat wouldn't be any earlier than the 13th, and it's probably more likely to be the 14th. But we'll update that as we go. So that's about it for there. Let's have a look at see what the IRC is doing. I don't think it will change much in terms of the gaps that we looked at yesterday, but nonetheless, I'll have a look. So translated on 41, so it's 42. So it's actually still a day and near enough at 24 hours to Triana, still achievable if they fall over at the front. You never know. Maiden 43, so Maiden's 2.5 days behind translated for first position, and only about 1 day and 1 day and 16 hours behind Triana for second place. Galliana would secure. Only 1 hour behind Maiden. That's fun. Tapio, if he knew that, he'd be having a ball. They'd be going a bit faster, I reckon. Only 1 hour behind Maiden. That's fun. And Evrika is 1 day behind Galliana with Secure, and then it goes down to Spirit Helsinki. A couple of hours behind Evrika, and then Outlaw's still there, hanging on to the bits. Remembering, of course, that this is just leg 3 rankings. And so when you combine the 2 legs, you look at the difference from the where they settled on the first leg and put them together, and then we'll know who's overall IRC for the 2 legs combined. There's no trophy for that. We only give trophies for leg 1 and 2 is individual set, and then at the end of the race there is the overall trophy for the whole event. So, but we'll still publish when we work it out what the combined totals are for leg 1 and 2. So there'll be a ranking for that, and but you don't get a trophy for that on this leg. Anyway, I think I will just, while I'm here, we'll just have a look at the currents, just the currents and cloud cover. If we pull this back right to now, that's the weather there. So currents here. What have we got happening? Nothing in particular. Where's Marie? Up here. Oh, Marie's just punched through, just missed one. That's interesting. These current graphics are usually pretty accurate. So she just missed big heads there, but that would have been a 1 knot current going against her, and now she's at the tail end of the East Australian coast current. So that's the most dramatic there. Maiden's getting a bit of a ride northeast, but I don't know whether they want to be up there. And the others are all not doing anything particular. Cloud cover, let's see who's getting positions. Yeah, most of them have got sights, so that's sunny. So everyone's in sun. They'll be enjoying the ride, and they'll be very much, once you get out of the Southern Ocean and start heading up into the Tasman, you feel as if you're there. You go and have a shower and wash your hair and get your clean clothes out. So, we're nearly there after all those miles that they've done. So that's a bit of fun as well. Okay, so back here, we come on here. If I go with that, I think I'll come up. I'm flopping the screens down around here now. Yeah. Oops, sorry. Get rid of that. Okay, so just a quick one down here for see if there's any questions. Nigel, hi Nigel. Yes, the 6 morning in Auckland. Yep, Mississippi, Hampshire. Special greetings for Galliana and Spirit Helsinki. The cyclone was the name. Oh yeah, I could have showed you the cyclone. So the cyclone's going to be all over in about 3 days, but it is Cyclone Jasper now after the ghost. Jasper, what's his name? The Happy Ghost or something? Cartoon character. And it's coming down. It's going to go underneath. It'll basically cross over the Whitsundays, which is a big cruising ground. But look at it, I've got a mooring up there in Bowen, which got wiped out many years ago. I hope that doesn't happen again. Or Marina Berth. Anyway, if someone wants to buy it, it's for sale. But yeah, it'll be all over in 3 days. It's going to cross the coast and then blow apart. So hopefully everyone will be all okay. Okay, I'm convinced Captain Coconut thinks he's on a world food cruise rather than the OGR. Well, I'm not going to comment on that. Anyway, Michigan, hi. Good luck to Galliana, especially Pia from us both. Yep. Good morning from Adelaide. Too much interference on HF radio last night for Rob on Institute to speak to Spirit of Helsinki. Yeah, there's a lot of funny atmospherics at the moment, which is kind of mucking up some of the radio chat. But anyway, g'day, Turja. Christine Turner, happy Finnish National Day. Oh, Finnish National Day. Oh, that's interesting. It would be a good tactic to hug the coast a little rather than follow the rum line through the middle of the Tasman. Yeah, normally I would have a little bit of a preference to be along the west coast of New Zealand, but not too close. Just talking hundreds of miles out, but just because you get a bit of a flow going up that way, a bit of an airflow. Emsworth, hi Janet, evening from Plymouth. I think we're done. Hi Don, what's the next departure date from Auckland? January the 14th we leave, yeah. The departure date for the restart is January the 14th. So they'll get a month here. Thanks, Janet. John, YTQ. Will there be another Q&A? Yes, there will, but usually I leave it to the end of the week. So, Casper the Friendly Ghost. That's what it is, not Jasper. Okay, thanks, Alice. Yeah, so it's Jasper the Cyclone and Casper the Ghost. There you go. All right, on that very technical and sophisticated note, I'll leave the scene and see you all tomorrow. Thanks for that. See you later.